Right, so in today's video, I want to take a quick look at a tool and equipment organization system or option that I have been curious about for some time. So it's called shadow foam or fit foam or toolbox foam, or I'm sure there's a whole bunch of other names that I'm not even aware of. And all it is a engineered plastic or polyurethane foam that's manufactured in layers and designed to pick apart to create custom tool holders for quick and convenient storage and organization of tools and equipment. Well, that's the idea. Much like a shadow board where tools are stored up against the wall with a border around each tool. This is obviously a very effective way of storing and organizing tools and equipment because a vacant border, or in the case of the foam, a cavity, would reveal that a tool has been used or is missing. Now, unlike the shadow board, the foam has the added advantage of cradling the tool, so it can also be used in moving storage systems like drawers, trolleys, toolboxes, or power tool cases. Now guys, the foam comes in many different sizes, thicknesses and even colors, which all need to be considered when planning your storage system. Now this video is not about any particular brand, it's not a sponsored video, so I will add a whole bunch of different options to my Amazon storefront and link it down below. You guys can check it out there. Keep in mind that different brands have different quality, the layers are different thicknesses, some pick apart easier, some are easier to use, so this is all stuff that needs to be considered when looking at options. Locally, I couldn't track down any specific brand. I could only find the foam in square meters in either 30 or 50 millimeters thick. So I went with the 50, which is about 2 inches. And I used my saws to break it down into smaller pieces. Now, some of you guys are probably watching this thinking I'm not using a riving knife and a blade guard on my table saw. Believe me, I want to. I don't have those components because it's a restored machine and I am looking out for it. So please remember to use your safety gear or safety equipment with your tools. An accident can happen very quickly. Right, so the idea is to organize items to be stored by tracing along their borders with a cutter or knife to create a cutout in the foam. Now, if it's easier, you can mark the border of the tool with a marker before cutting along that, which will obviously only require the additional step. The depth of the cut will obviously be determined by the tool that needs to be stored and how deep it needs to be stored into the foam. Now, some tools are going to be a little bit tricky because they are going to have thinner sections and thicker sections, and you obviously want to compensate or make the cutout in a way that will allow the tool to lay flat in the cutout. After the cut has been made, the inner section or the tool section of the cutout can be plucked out by hand, and the idea is that the foam should separate easily along its layers, creating a negative into which the tool can be stored. Okay, so the foam cuts easily, the knife traces the tool easily, and I like to make the first cut through the first layer, then remove the tool, then make the second cut to the depth that I want to create my storage. Plucking it apart was a little bit tricky. It doesn't separate as nicely as I would like it to along its layers, but as I said, this is not the best quality foam. It's all I could find locally. In spite of this, I created a very nice storage for my little nail gun, and as you can see, it also works well as a vertical storage as long as you make the cutout to cradle the tool nice and tightly. I'm going to add some more tools to this tile, and then I'm going to make 2 more tiles just like it. These are going to be drawer liners for a small workshop storage and organization system that I am building for my small workshop. I will post a video on that really soon, so if you aren't subscribed yet, you should do that now so you don't miss out. Once I'm finished with the 3 tiles, I'm going to see if there's some other stuff in my workshop I can store and organize using the foam. Now the items I'm storing in this video or on these 3 tiles might seem a little bit all over the place, but all of these items at this point don't have dedicated storage or storage areas in my workshop. Making neat cutouts for the tools and items to be stored is not ridiculously difficult as long as they are made with patience and a very sharp cutter. I did need to change the cutter once during the course of the video, or all the storage units that I've made for this video. Okay, so that's the 3 liners for next week's video, pretty much prepped and ready to go. Now, as a storage system, I think the foam has absolutely succeeded, and I think the results speak for themselves. Now, quickly, before ending the video, I want to organize the top drawer of my toolbox because it is a bit of a mess and can do with some organization. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the nice thing about using this application for something like a toolbox is the fact that the tools won't fall around when the box is moved around. Right, so something I picked up now while doing the tools in the toolbox is that when making cutouts for smaller tools or tools with many contours, it can become a little bit tricky to make a neat cutout or a good looking cutout. But when the tools are installed into the foam, it still looks good. Now I would imagine that the foam can be used to create custom storage for all kinds of things like camera equipment, GoPros, power tool batteries, specialized equipment. You know, the options really are endless as long as you can trace the object and create a recessed cutout to store it in. Now, maybe you guys have some ideas how you would utilize the foam. Please let me know in the comment section down below. And that's pretty much it for this video. As I said, I'm quite pleased with the results, but if you guys have anything you would like to add, please drop it in the comment section down below. I am now prepped and ready for next week's video. And as I said, if you aren't subscribed yet, you should do that now so you don't miss out. As always, thank you so much for watching. Till next time. Cheers.